Welcome back to another Weapons Wednesday, everyone. Today we're going to be discussing the C-grip or C-clamp, a long debate on this and why you might use it, why you might not use it. It was made famous by Chris Costa back in the Magpul days of their heyday. And yeah, so we're going to go over that. I've seen a lot of talk online about it, so I'm just going to go over my thoughts on it. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to offend half the internet doing it. So that's okay. Let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get into it, I'd like to thank Rain City Tactical for sponsoring the channel and all the love and support they've given me so far. If you guys are in the Kent area of Washington, please go check out the Rain City Shooting Center. They've got an awesome membership deal. You get a percentage off of everything in the store. You get, I think, 10% off of one gun purchase per year in the store. They make custom holsters, tons of cool stuff. And we have classes coming in January, so look out for those. With that said, let's dive into this really quick. So, as always, make sure whatever weapon you are handling is cleared. So when we're talking about the C-grip, and there's quite a few reasons why I don't recommend training to it, and I'm going to go over those. So the first one being when you're in these, I will say the standard C-grip. Now when I say standard C-grip, if you're looking at it like this is kind of a C-grip because technically my thumb is up here, but it's a bit modified, right? When we first started seeing the C-grip, you had a full extension up here, and you can see that you can actually see in this picture, right, that with my arm all the way locked out, my shoulder up here is almost at eye level. So I'm cutting off a lot of my vision to my left and down. So if there's a target that were to come low, like I might not catch it, where I would catch it if I was here, right? So I'm cutting off my vision, and technically I'm creating a larger silhouette because there's an extra 6 inches from here to here that I'm like overexposing myself as well. And this is super fatiguing, right? This is not something you can do for long periods of time. And if I've learned anything from my time in the military and outside of it and in combat, you want to reduce that fatigue as much as you can because you have no idea what's coming next. You have no idea how long that firefight is going to last. It could last 30 minutes. It could last 10 minutes. It could last 6 hours. Again, very different scenarios, but you just never know. You don't know what that standoff is going to look like. So to me, it makes more sense to train to some other advantage than to something that's going to cut off my field of view, make me tired faster, no matter, yes, you can go to the gym. By all means, go to the gym, train, be ready for that. But no matter what, you'll still be able to hold your rifle up longer like this than like this. It's just science. So another thing is if my arm is all the way extended, right? And I know this, and I know before you say anything, before you get thoughts in your head, I know that it's fractions of a second. But when fractions of a second count, right? If my arm is all the way out here, it's a longer distance for me to get to my reload than it is from here. And I know we're talking about fractions of a second, but again, if it made a difference, would it matter to you? Just something to keep in mind. And another portion of this is, so if I'm always trained to the C-grip, right, or the standard C-grip that's fully locked out, and let's say I'm dealing with a smaller gun. Maybe I don't have this gun. Maybe I've got something smaller. Maybe I'm working with something like this. Can I even do that like effectively without kind of like changing it up a little bit anyway? Like it's really hard for me to actually get fully extended in the first place. And I'm a smaller dude. I'm only, 5, I like to say 5'10", but I'm just about 5'10". And so if you're a larger dude, if you're 6 foot plus, like I almost think you have no business carrying a smaller rifle, a smaller AR pistol or anything. Like if you can wield a larger weapon with a longer barrel that's more accurate, why wouldn't you? I get the case in the cases of concealment or trying to keep a small profile, that I can understand. But for guys that are SWAT or military or whatever else, like, or if you're going out in more of a combative sense, like it doesn't make sense to have a shorter barrel unless there's some actual other purpose for it. Other than looking cool, that's all you're really accomplishing, right? So I would rather train to something that's more in line with that I can use with most weapons instead of just one particular style of weapon depending on what I have access to, right? So, and again, I'm not saying the C-grip or the C-clamp is bad by any means. It's great on the range. It's great for target shooting, you know, but in a combative sense, it really doesn't make that much sense to me. Especially when you talk about weapon manipulation, right? So if I have the gun shouldered, right, if I have to come down and use this foregrip, let's say I have to short stock and stuff, it's much easier for me to control the weapon, right, with this than like this, and it's more awkward, right? If I'm down here, I can more easily control the weapon. I'm tight, I'm a smaller silhouette, and I can lean over into angles with my eyes on my muzzle, right? Much easier than if I'm like trying to hold it like this or get used to this. Just have that foregrip on there or that hand stop that you can get a hold of and use that to manipulate the weapon. It's just to me, it's just a better combative stance than having your arm fully extended. Plus, I don't know if you've ever had to go through doors. If you're constantly like, if you just train to this and you want to try to hold your weapon like this the whole time, like, trying to like lean and get through doors is much more difficult than having this. It just is. Like you can bring your elbow in tighter. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like go over that because I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, and those are just my thoughts on it. I mean, you don't have to agree with me. That's totally fine. It's just what I teach. It's just what I prefer to, push out in my classes. If you want a C-clamp, go for it, man. Especially on the range. Like it does help you manage the weapon system a little bit. And again, this might be even arguable, but a little bit more, right? But it comes down to training anyways, right? And if you need a ton of extra help with, unless you're shooting like 308 or something that's got like a ton of recoil, more so, I won't say a ton, but more so than 5.56 or 7.62, like there's not a whole lot of recoil there in the first place. So I'm not really sure you need to be like pushing down on your weapon and taking away your view and all those other things. One other thing I will touch on really quick is, and this goes back to kind of like the grips and stuff. So when you look at like a smaller weapon, like I was talking with somebody briefly online, and I made a response video, but of course the internet took it down. So I'll make it on here. When he was saying like you can't grip the rifle or the weapon system by the mag well because it will induce malfunctions. This is inaccurate. Why they say this is because when you load a magazine into the rifle, right, what happens is most people, when they grab the mag well, what happens is they grab it and then they put pressure down here on the lower portion of their hand, right, on the back of the palm, and their pinky, right, and so they're putting pressure on the magazine this way, which is causing the magazine to tilt this way, which can induce malfunctions, right? So it's not a matter of you grabbing the mag well up here, because you can put pressure right here, moving back. You can, as long as you're just doing this, you can move it back. But if you start putting pressure on the magazine, it can induce malfunctions. Not always, but it can. It's the same concept in why they teach in the military to, if you're in the prone, use your elbow as that support system. Don't rest your magazine on the deck, because if you rest your magazine directly on the deck, it's mostly getting pressure on this back end, right, which is potentially tilting it forward or back and causing that same tilt to happen, and you can get malfunctions. Again, it's not always, but it can happen. So that's why they just teach not to do it. But grabbing the mag well itself is not going to induce a malfunction. So with that said, I will end this video, and I will see you guys for Frag Out Friday. I hope that kind of clears up my thoughts on it. You guys can let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. If there's a good argument for it or a better argument for it than I've heard, then yeah, let me know. But with that said, I will see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe out there. Stay loose, battle on, and if you bitch in your heart, it'll show.